It is another beautiful spring day today, and I'm wanting to bring you along for a realistic afternoon on the homestead and also give you a bit of a garden update. So at the end of last week, the girls and I were able to do our first harvest of spring. We harvested some peas and around 6 kilos of carrots as well. Earlier this week, I spent a lot of time prepping garden beds and re-sowing them. But unfortunately, a gate was left open accidentally and the chickens got in and completely trashed a few of the garden beds. And not gonna lie, I had a bit of a cry about it, but that's okay. I'm still deciding whether or not to chance it and see if anything germinates or if I just go ahead and re-sow. But anyway, I wanted to show you that. So there's literally just 2 parsnip seedlings there after the chickens trashed this one. This is one of the beds we pulled carrots out of, but of course they've just gone and trashed all that mulch in there. And what the birds had left of the silver beet, the chickens have completely gotten into as well. This garden bed here is the one that I am most upset about. I had re-sown this all with carrots. It was looking beautiful. I had mulched the pathways between them and everything, and the chickens have just completely come and made a massive mess of it, so I've got to clean that up today. They also pulled this zucchini plant out and I've replanted it, but I'm not sure if it's going to survive. This afternoon I'm hoping to get a little bit of weeding done and maybe some other homestead chores as well. So in here we have 39 chicks and we are hatching another batch. They're in the incubator right now and they will be hatching in about a week and a half's time. And I think there's about 50 in there. These are going to be our meat birds. We are going to keep a few of them for eggs. We've decided to breed a heritage breed rather than the commercial chicken. 1, because it's actually really hard to get meat chickens where we live, and 2, it just means we're a bit more self-sufficient. We're raising our own eggs from our own chickens. And overall, the heritage birds just seem ethically a lot better than the commercial chickens. So although these guys take a little bit longer to grow out and we get a little bit less meat off them than if we were to do meat birds, we don't mind. It sits better with us. With this garden bed of carrots, we just thinned it out and took the biggest ones, and then the smaller ones we're just leaving for a few more weeks to grow bigger. Once these guys are done, I'm going to be planting capsicums or eggplants in here. I've just got these kumara slips hardening off, ready to plant in the garden, but they've been out here for a few hours, so I'm going to go ahead and take them inside now. We are having huge trouble this year with birds coming in and eating a lot of our plants. The things like lettuces and brassicas and the little seedlings, the birds are just absolutely eating them all up, so we're having to put a lot of netting up and protection to try and keep some of these plants alive. I'm hoping that if we can protect them till they're big enough, then the birds might not go for them as much. But yeah, definitely the little seedlings the birds are just going for, and the leafy greens, if they can get near them, they're gone. So that's fun. We had some pretty strong wind the other day, and despite hilling them, we had a couple of potato plants snap. But I'm hoping they'll have enough time to grow back and that they'll be okay. What I'm wanting to achieve this afternoon while my little one's asleep is that I've got some carrots to weed today, just a little bit more that I didn't get finished the other day. This is the first time since planting these that it's been weeded, so it's quite a big job now, but then with regular weeding it'll be really manageable to keep up with. I find it's really important to keep the weeds down around your carrots, otherwise they just don't grow. Carrots have very fragile roots, so it's really important to not disturb the soil around them, otherwise they probably will just die off. Ideally, I would have liked to have waited till these little carrot seedlings were a bit bigger before weeding, but the weeds just got insane here and they're taking over, so I had to do something. Although they look quite sad and piddly now, these carrots are going to fill out and I'm going to need to thin them in several weeks' time. These ones over here I weeded just a few weeks ago and they are definitely filling out, and I'm going to have to thin them very, very soon. I wanted to now spend a little bit of time quickly weeding around these onion seedlings. So that's fairly roughly weeded, but it's done. I've still got a whole bunch more weeding to do around the onions down the side of this patch, but that's a great start. The bees are doing great. We managed to find a bunch of brood and the queen, as well as the bees have already started making lots of honey for us, so that's great. So one of our next missions is to get some bird netting up over our currants and berries and our grapes here. but that's a massive job that everyone's going to need to help with. So I've got some beef tallow here that I have just rendered for a second time and cooled down in the fridge, and I'm just going to check if it needs rendering one more time or if it's good to go. As you can see, this tallow is nice and clear, so I'm going to chuck it back in the slow cooker to melt it down and then pop it away in some jars. Beef tallow is so easy to make, and we use it for a wide variety of things. We use it for cooking, we use it for nappy cream and moisturizer, and it's just really good stuff. How I make it is I get some beef fat from one of our local supermarkets or butchers and I dice it up. Now I find it is easier to dice it up when it is semi-frozen, so often I will buy a bulk lot of it and chuck it away in the freezer for when I'm wanting to make some more. And yeah, then I'll dice it up, chuck it in the slow cooker with some water with salt in it and chuck it on high for maybe 6 hours. And after that I will scoop out all the big chunks. After about 6 hours, I'll separate out the liquid from the big chunks and discard the big chunks and then put the liquid in the fridge to set. Now what you'll get is you'll get the layer of tallow, and underneath will be all the water with the salt in it, and that pulls out the impurities. And so you'll see on the bottom of your tallow where all the impurities are, and you can just scrape them off. And then I'd repeat that process one more time back in the slow cooker with more water with salt in it, and I just do that until it's all melted down again, which will take 1 to 2 hours on high in the slow cooker, and then back in the fridge to set. And basically I just repeat this process until the tallow is looking nice and clear. Like today it only took those 2 renders, and now I'm just melting down the fat again to put in the jars. This compost pile needs a little bit of love, so here goes nothing. You found me! You got some lollies! What did you guys get? Wow! Oh my goodness, you guys are so lucky! It's the time of year to be treating your chickens for lice and mites. Now we noticed some of our chickens having some scaly legs, which is indicating scaly leg mites. So we have gone ahead and sprayed the coop for a second time and oiled their legs as well, which is going to smother any lice on their legs. But I'm going to go ahead and try and get that done one more time tonight. I've still got to water the garden a little bit later when it cools off tonight because I didn't get a chance to water them this morning and the plants are looking a little bit thirsty. And other than that, I've just got to wait for the beef tallow to cool down and chuck it in some jars and then it will be done.